guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing one of my favorite things in the world, and that is decluttering. I love getting rid of stuff. I don't know why. It's like a weird little addiction. I own way too much stuff, but I also love to get rid of a lot of stuff. About a few months ago, I went through my TBR and my read books, but after coming home from college, I realized that there were a lot of books that I still owned that I really don't want to own anymore. Especially of my read ones. A lot of my TBR, I don't know how much of my TBR I'm actually going to declutter, just because, I don't know, I get kind of iffy with TBR books and I tend to try to give things chances when in that regard. But as far as read books, there were definitely ones that I looked at and was like, you're never going to read that again. So today I'm going to be doing the book unhaul challenge, book unhaul tag. I know I saw Emma Books do this. I'm not sure if I saw anybody else. It was a little bit ago that this was a thing on YouTube, but I just am now getting around to doing it. So I probably will be decluttering even more than what is warranted in this tag, but I am so excited to get rid of some books because I feel like I have too many, and especially ones that I don't actually like that much. So the first category is a book you've rated low. Be right back. So for this, I actually pulled two books, and those are The 100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett by Chelsea Sidoti and Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Tucholk. I touched on these in my unhaul from my previous unhaul, and I was unsure about whether or not I wanted to get rid of these. I really don't like these books. I still have very negative feelings toward them when I think about them, but for some reason I was like, no, you should keep them. No, and every time I see them on my bookshelf, I'm like, I hate you. Why? And like, why do I want to own something that like I honestly hate? I think part of me was thinking I was going to reread it and have like an epiphany that said, oh wow, like you're definitely going to No. So these can go. Next up, we have a book you changed your mind about. For this, I picked The Walled City by Ryan Groudon. I read this right when I was getting back into reading and back into YA, and really when I discovered BookTube. This was one of the books that was talked about a lot when I first started watching BookTube, so that is why I bought it, that is why I read it, and at the time I really enjoyed it. Looking back now, I'm like, I don't remember much. What I do remember, it was just okay, and I'm definitely never going to reread this. I think I definitely changed my mind about it because when I first read this, it was one of the first books I read, you know, rediscovering reading and being like, oh my god, this was so good, it was so exciting, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, there are way better books that I could spend my time rereading, and there's just no point in keeping this one. Next up is a series you won't be completing. This was super easy because this was one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to declutter my books again, because when I saw these sitting on my shelves after I got home from school, I was like, why? No, you're not gonna you're not gonna keep reading those. And that is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I have Red Queen, Glass Sword, and King's Cage. I read all of these last summer. I had read this one my freshman year, but I reread all three of them last summer when King's Cage came out, and I believe there's a fourth one now out, and I have no desire whatsoever to read it. I'm gonna be honest, I remember what happens in this one, and then these two are just kind of like blurs, which is a definite sign to me that I'm not enjoying this series and that there's really no point in continuing it, because I read Akamath and all of the first two of that series last summer as well, and those are much bigger books, and I can tell you almost exactly what happened in them because I enjoyed them so much. I still haven't read the third one, but I'm getting to it. There are more books that I could be reading, better books that I could be reading, and these were just mediocre, really. Next up, we have kind of a hard one for me, and that is a book you DNF'd. This is difficult because I don't really like DNFing books, and if I do, they tend to go back on my TBR shelf, and I try to get back to them, or I have intentions of getting back to them. Ooh, okay. So for this one, there were a couple that I could have picked, but those were ones that I was kind of more drawn to maybe picking up in the future. This one, however, if I decide I want to read it for some reason later on, I can get it on Kindle or something, because this is in a mass market paperback and it's just really a bitch to read, and that is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I read this, or started this, for my senior year AP literature class in high school, and I don't know how far I got, but I didn't finish it. I remember that. This was like the first book we were supposed to read for that class, and I was like, I don't want to. I stayed up really late trying to, and I just didn't, and I know what ends up happening. I hate the main character. It's like weirdly not that long now that I look at it. It's only like 534 pages. But I would just rather like get it on Kindle or something in the future if I wanted to, because this is just a really old yellowed paperback now, and I can, if I really am drawn to reread this or finish this, I can just get it in a different format that isn't so ragged. The next one is a book you have multiple copies of, and I really don't think I have one of those. And if I do, it is very intentional, and it's Harry Potter, and I want to keep that. Okay, so I found one. And it's a little different because it's not exactly an exact second copy, but the book I am going to be decluttering is my first ever bought edition of Twilight. This almost hurts to like get rid of, but I mean, I got rid of my paperback versions of Harry Potter, and that would definitely be more painful. I have the 10th anniversary edition of Twilight that has Twilight and then the gender bent version of it. So I don't think I need this anymore. It's also like the ugly movie cover, though I never, like, for some reason this movie cover never bothered me. And I don't really know what it is about it that doesn't bother me. Oh, it's Cedric Diggory. Yeah, so I don't need this. I was already like thinking of getting rid of my paperback editions of Twilight anyway, just to have the hardcover, and that way I can just have the 10th anniversary edition and just get rid of this old copy of Twilight. Next up, we have a book you'll never actually get to, and this is like extreme honesty right now, and I'm really scared because I'm really bad at admitting that I don't have all the time in the world to read a book and that I won't get to some of these. One sec. This is painful to me because it's a beautiful book. It's got beveled edges, and I look at it and I'm like, you're not gonna read that. Like, I would look at it on my shelf and I'd be like, that's not getting read. And I honestly might do a final swoop after I'm done with the questions and just pull out the books that I feel like that about. And but this one is what I grabbed. This is The Golem and the Jinni by Helene Wecker. I just don't see myself reading this, and I don't really know why that is. But I looked at it and I was like, you're not gonna read that. And like, okay, wait, let me look at the synopsis. It's so beautiful. Okay, after like 5 minutes of sitting here and trying to like talk myself out of it, I'm gonna declutter this because it's just, I need to be honest with myself and know that I'm not that drawn to read it, and the only reason I want to read it is because it's pretty. Next up is a book you bought because of the hype. I am getting rid of 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I only bought this because the series came out and people freaked out, and I'd seen this a couple of times when I would go to Target and stuff, and I was like, oh, I should read the book. My friends read this. She said it was just okay. I blatantly refuse to watch the show because I just find it really problematic and wrong, and I don't want to read the book, and the only reason I bought it was because people were freaking out about it. Next up, we have a book you bought because of the cover. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. Oh god. When I saw this, I was like, shit. This is The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. I know I only bought this because of the cover. Like, literally the only reason I got this from Target was because I thought the cover was so pretty. Like, look at that. Oh no. I'm not gonna read this. I know I'm not gonna read this. The only reason I bought this was because it was pretty. I can always rebuy it if I really, really want to, but I have a feeling I'm gonna forget it as soon as I get rid of it, so it's gone. Oh god. Okay. Next question. A book you don't know anything about. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of The Crane Wife by Patrick Ness. I think I started this at one point and I was kind of just like, what? And then I put it down and now I'm just kind of like, I'm good. I have no idea what this is even about at all. I know it's about a crane. And that's it. So it can go. The last category is a book you didn't buy, which I think is going to be very difficult because I've bought most of my books. So it occurred to me that there is one book that well, there are a couple books that I didn't buy in my collection, obviously, but the one that I would really like to get rid of is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I read this in high school, yet again, 12th grade AP Literature, and this is actually my mom's copy of it. We both really don't like it, but she let me read it for school, and I can give it back to her now because I don't like this book. I just don't like this book. So now I'm gonna go through, look through my books and see if there's anything else that I would like to declutter while I'm doing this. So I have a few more. Only one of these is from my TBR. The rest are books I've already read. First one from my TBR is Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I just don't think I'm ever going to get to this, and there's no point in me keeping it. The rest I have read, first up being Translations by Brian Friel. This is a book I read for my British Contemporary Authors class. I enjoyed it. It's a play. It was really good, but I just don't see myself ever rereading it. Same goes for Return of the Soldier by Rebecca West. I think I actually read this on my Kindle because my books hadn't come in yet, so I don't even think I've ever actually read this copy, but I just don't think I'll ever reread it. This next book I read for my 11th grade AP English class, and it is Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I remember a lot of the points of this book, and I also just know I'm never gonna reread it. I just don't feel the need to. I rarely get rid of books when I read them in like the same year, and so like because I don't want to like get rid of them when I know I have to do like a year wrap up or like talk about them later, but I just know while I'm at it, I might as well get rid of these. The first one is Excellent Sheep, The Miseducation of the American Elite and the Way to a Meaningful Life by William Deresiewicz. I really enjoyed this book. I just know I'm never going to reread it. We have Oedipus the King by Sophocles. I read this, I think, my freshman year of college. I know what this is about and I don't need to keep it to remember. We have The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I read this my freshman year of high school and I didn't like it, and I just have no intentions of ever reading it again. I do remember a lot of it, but I just really don't like it. Another book I read this year is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I'm just not a Virginia Woolf fan, and I don't need to keep this. And the third book I read this year is The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. I just was not a fan of this, and I don't need to keep it around now that I know that. And the last book that I'm going to be decluttering is a book that I didn't like and yet again kept during my last declutter, and that is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I really hated this book, and I have no idea why it survived that last declutter, but it did. But yeah, so it's gone now. So I'm going to count all of the books I got rid of. I got rid of 23 books in that one video. I am very happy with that. I just feel really good that I got rid of a lot of the books that I know there's no point in me keeping, so why have them? But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I hope this inspired you to maybe go through your own book collection. But I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye!